Hey dreamers, and welcome back to Conan's Dreamlight Magic. Today, we're diving into one of my favourite topics and something we've already spoken about before. Villains. We've already seen big names like Scar, Ursula, and Jafar join the Valley, but Disney has such a huge roster of baddies it deserves some love too. So, in this video, I'm counting down 10 underrated villains I'd love to see added to the game, talking about why they'd fit, what kind of quests they could bring, and how they'd shake up the Valley's storylines. Let's get into it, shall we? When it comes to modern Disney television, Amphibia is one of the best, and King Andrias is one of its most layered villains. Compared to other Disney TV villains like Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls, or Emperor Bellows from The Owl House, Andrias doesn't get nearly enough recognition. He's tragic, intimidating, and deeply complex, which makes him a perfect candidate for Dreamlight Valley's darker story arcs. Imagine him towering in your valley, perhaps tied to a questline involving the Calamity Box or ancient frog technology. He could easily be introduced for a special event, or crossover biome inspired by Amphibia's unique world. Having him would bring something fresh, especially since he isn't a standard Disney classic villain, but one that represents Disney Channel's newer era. Yzma is iconic in every sense. Hilarious, stylish, and completely chaotic. Despite being one of Disney's most funniest villains, she often gets overlooked and compared to others from her era. In Dreamlight Valley, Yzma could be an absolute blast, bringing comedy and eccentric quests that play into her obsession with potions and bizarre inventions. If we were given a realm, we could get a revisit which introduces Kronk, and you're tasked with brewing experimental potions that have wild side effects. Yzma's lair, complete with her secret lab and that infamous leather gag, have already been turned into a furniture set, so it's not off the table. She wouldn't just bring villain energy, she'd bring campy humour that would make every interaction a delight. Now, this is a deep cut. The good dinosaur doesn't get much attention at all, but Thunderclap, the terrifying pterodactyl who follows the storm provides philosophy, would make such a cool villain addition. His design is genuinely creepy and menacing, making him stand out compared to Dreamlight Valley's more whimsical characters. As a flying antagonist, he could be incorporated into Valley events or as part of a dangerous realm. Imagine quests where you need to protect crops or villagers from his storm-driven attacks. He might not be the most obvious pick, but bringing him in would give the good dinosaur some overdue representation, while adding a very different style of villain to the game. Whether you know her from the classic comics, the original DuckTales, or the reboot, Magica De Spell is one of Disney's most enduring villains. She's cunning, stylish, and deeply tied to Scrooge McDuck's lore, making her a natural fit for Dreamlight Valley, especially since Scrooge is already here. Her storyline could involve magical battles, cursed items, and a hunt for Scrooge's #1 dime. Imagine quests where you help Scrooge defend his treasures, or face off against Magica's dark spells. Adding her would not only expand the DuckTales roster, but also bring another powerful sorceress into the Valley to balance against characters like Maleficent and Mother Gothel. Governor Ratcliffe is often dismissed as one of Disney's greed villains, but in truth, his story of colonial greed and exploitation is chillingly relevant. His larger-than-life persona, complete with his flamboyant outfit and arrogance, would add something very different to the Valley. Quests with Ratcliffe could lean into themes of greed versus generosity, perhaps involving him trying to exploit resources in the Valley. Other villagers could rally against his schemes, making for an engaging storyline. And let's be honest, his outfits alone would be a massive draw. Who wouldn't want his ridiculous purple ensemble as a dream style, or even that golden outfit? Shere Khan is one of Disney's most iconic animal villains, yet he hasn't had much attention in Dreamlight Valley discussions. He's elegant, intimidating, and strategic, traits that would make him an excellent addition to the Valley. Unlike Scar, who's brutish and power-hungry, Shere Khan represents intelligence and patience, making him a unique villain personality. He could be introduced through a Jungle Book realm, maybe alongside Baloo or Bagheera, Imagine quests involving the law of the jungle, with Shere Khan slyly manipulating events to his advantage. His presence would also give us more animal villains, which are still rare compared to the human ones. Gabby Gabby is such an underrated villain because she isn't pure evil. She is tragic, sympathetic, and driven by her own heartbreak. In Dreamlight Valley, she could fill a role similar to Vanellope, blurring the line between hero and villain. Her questline could explore themes of belonging and self-worth, maybe involving her repairing toys in the valley or trying to find a family. She wouldn't bring chaos in the traditional sense, but her layered personality would make her one of the most emotionally complex additions to the game. Plus, her eerie ventriloquist dummy henchman could make for fun event encounters. This one's a no-brainer. Bowler Hat Guy is hilarious, tragic, and full of personality. He embodies the kind of offbeat energy that would make Dreamlight Valley more fun and unpredictable. His connection to time travel and Doris, the sentient bowler hat, could inspire some really creative quest lines. He could tie into quests about tinkering with the valley's timeline, or even threaten the balance of different biomes. A Meet the Robinsons realm could also introduce Lewis and Wilbur, giving us a mix of humour and heartfelt storytelling. Bowler Hat Guy might be underrated, but he has all the makings of a fan favourite addition. The Horned King is one of Disney's darkest villains, yet he is rarely mentioned in modern media. With his terrifying design and sinister goals, he'd bring a gothic, horror-inspired tone that Dreamlight Valley hasn't really explored yet. His addition would also give long-overlooked fans of the Black Cauldron something to celebrate. His realm could feature the Black Cauldron itself, with quests centred on stopping him from raising an undead army to more. Imagine a storyline where he briefly unleashes a wave of skeleton minions into the valley before you defeat him. He'd be a chilling but incredible addition that would give the game's villain roster some real edge. And finally, we come to Shan Yu from Mulan. Despite being one of Disney's most intimidated villains, he's criminally underrated and almost never gets discussed when people talk about villain representation. His sheer presence, with his hawk companion and his terrifying army, would instantly make him one of the most dangerous feeling characters in Dreamlight Valley. Shan Yu's addition could bring more Mulan representation, maybe even tied to a realm expansion of the burned village from the film. He could test players' bravery and strategy in his quests, making for a more intense storyline. Adding him would not only flesh out Mulan's world, but also finally give this villain the recognition he deserves. So, those are my top 10 underrated villains I'd love to see in Dreamlight Valley. From tragic figures like Gabby Gabby, to powerhouses like Shan Yu and the Horned King. Each of these villains would bring something unique to the Valley's roster and quests. Disney Dreamlight Valley has already done a great job of giving us classic baddies, but I think it's time we start looking at overlooked ones too. Let me know in the comments of which villains you'd love to see next, and did I miss an underrated favourite? And as always, if you enjoyed this list, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Dreamlight magic. I'll see you in the valley. Bye!